Introducing the ultimate seat cover, Tiger Tough. Proudly made in the US of A, waterproof and backed by an unconditional warranty. Yes, you heard it right. 2 years on vehicles and a lifetime guarantee on heavy equipment. They have you covered for manufacturer defects, normal wear and tear, and even those oh shit moments. Tiger Tough covers are meticulously crafted for a perfect fit with over 30,000 pre-fit designs, ensuring they stay in place without any shifting or sliding. Plus, they're even machine washable. Don't settle for less. Get a seat cover today that's built to last. Order today at tigertough.com/dirt. Get a free logo embroidery on your first order if you use the code DIRTBAG at checkout. Once received, show us your new badass seat covers with your logo and tag us. Experience durability and quality with Tiger Tough seat covers. Toughness guaranteed.
All right, what's up, you dirtbags? My name is Luke Agerbrotten, your co-host of the Dirtbags podcast. This is our Dirt Tales segment. As you know, if you've listened to our last one with James Stixma from Andersons Septic, this is the series where we started it in the summertime here because Luke, other Dirtbags host, has been so busy during the summer. So we're like, well, how can we keep providing more content to you guys, but also, give Luke a break as well so he can get to work. So this is our Dirt Tales segment, and we've got a huge guest that I've been waiting for a long time to have on the show. Our man, Brian Andronaco Jr. from Andersons Septic. You guys probably know him. You probably follow him, but Brian, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. Cheers.
Oh, man. Cheers, boy. Tough. I don't even have one of those.
Yeah. So if you can't tell, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see I've got all my gear on. I've got my Andersons Septic shirt, my Andersons Septic hat, and then of course you got to see this, the Shitters Full mug.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is iconic. Olivia, she'll usually bring these to work, and she's like, I don't know if I can bring this one.
Yeah, it's funny. So I've gotten that, and I've also gotten the people who are like, hey, so my wife keeps stealing it. I need another one. So,
oh, dude, that is awesome. What
yeah,
are you drinking tonight?
I got a little special bottle of Yellowstone toasted.
All right.
And dude, a Coors Banquet to wash it down.
There you go. A little chaser.
Yeah. What do you got over there?
We've got some Woodford Reserve in the Shitters Full mug, and then kind of cleaning out the fridge. We're leaving for a couple of weeks, so we got a Kona Big Wave. Not too shabby.
Good choice.
And
so you're coming to the East Coast, come pumping, right?
Yeah, something like that. No, we're heading up north to back home actually, to Minnesota for the Phaser fundraiser. So when this comes out, I think we'll be a week past, and then we've got our another Turf Wars racing event on the Friday this comes out. So today we'll be racing.
That's awesome. Your gala is the same weekend as my kids' birthdays.
Oh, so,
yeah. Gotta bow out of that one.
You got to pick and choose. I mean, that's an easy one.
No. Got to be home for that.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Well, let's dive into it here. Like I said, I've been super excited to have you on. So we've actually been working together. I looked, you and I and the whole Andersons Septic crew, we started working together December of 2022. So whatever that ends up being, 18, 19, 20 months. And it's been insane, dude. And we'll dive into that probably a little bit later, but I know I was talking to James Stixma, and you were talking to him as well, and he really wants to hear more about your story and how you got into it, how you got started. You guys are 4 generations into this business, which is insane. But I wanted to start the podcast off with that. So if anyone who doesn't know you, I mean, that's too bad, but they're going to get to know you here, and really just want to hear it from the start of your story and how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah. So like most construction, excavation, family businesses, it started with my father. He started an excavation business in the 80s with his father. Before that, my great-grandfather was an excavator. Great-great-grandfather was an excavator. They ran the cable shovels and all that. So it's always kind of been in the family. So yeah, my grandfather started Andronaco Excavating in the 80s. They did everything from putting mailboxes in on Saturdays, pulling oil tanks, digging foundations, hauling, making driveways, you name it, they did it. They didn't turn down any jobs. Started out with little little 6-wheel dump truck, an old Dynaho backhoe, a backhoe. You probably would never see one of those on a job these days. Maybe just on road jobs. It's how archaic they tend to seem,
Yeah.
especially with all the new equipment. So yeah, my dad would always put in septic systems, drainage systems, and in the 1990s, the early 90s, Andersons Septic was for sale. It was a local established name. They did pumping. They had, I want to say, 1 or 2 pump trucks.
Yeah.
My mother and father went out on a limb, bought the business from Mrs. Anderson, as her husband passed away, and that's the start of the septic journey and the takeoff.
Yeah. And I think what's funny about it, and I'm sure a lot of people listening just assume your last name is Anderson, like Brian Anderson, but no, it's
Sounds good.
Brian Andronaco. So they probably thought I was slurring my words or something, but
Yeah,
because it was Andronaco Excavating.
correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Andronaco Excavating, and then we still run Andersons through Andronaco.
Yeah.
Andronaco is a great incorporation that it's been around for so long. It's got great credit. It's got a great established name. So we run Andersons through that. But real rapidly, my father found out how busy he could be with just septic work. The pumping just completely blew up. He started out pumping maybe 1 or 2 tanks after work. So he would do his excavation work during the day, get a friend of his, like, hey, we're gonna go pump some septic tanks. I don't know how to do it. The nephew of the business showed my dad the ropes for like 1 day. So they would go pump a couple tanks after work into the night. And now, fast forward, now we're doing, 8 to 10 a day.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's wild, Back then, we didn't know how to find septic tanks. We knew how to install them. But we didn't know how to find them. And you would show up at someone's house. My father would show up at someone's house, and they'd say, "Yeah, no, the tank's like right over here." And he'd be like, "Okay," and just start digging. That's it. Just start digging, not knowing what was down there. There was no good as-built. There was no good plans. The owner didn't keep good records. But technology and good record keeping and office help got us maps, and we figured it out pretty quickly after digging a few random holes.
Yeah, man, that is so awesome. So I had the chance to travel out to Connecticut a few months ago. It must have been this spring, and got to see a few of our clients, and obviously wanted to come see the whole Andersons Septic crew. And I mean, you guys I felt like just welcomed me in so well, and we all went to dinner, and the whole crew was there. I mean, we had a squad.
Yeah, we took over.
It was amazing, dude. And then obviously got to check out the shop, got to see everything. And I'm so excited we always talk about it. I'm so excited to go back and like jump on a route and just start pumping tanks with you.
Yeah.
Like, I need some poop on my shirt. Like, let's
you
get
got
going.
A little bit with BlackRock there the next day, right?
Yeah, huge shout out to Doug Castles. He let me empty the tank and showed me the ropes. Got poop on my forearm, and it's
awesome. I
hope
felt it's
good.
still there. You didn't wash that arm, right?
No, absolutely not. I was actually wearing the same shirt, so
it's great.
But dude, your family is just salt of the earth, and like I think that's what I love so much about my job or our business is we get to choose who we work with, and I think that's so important. And that's for any business. You get to pick who your clients are. And construction, I'd say it's a little harder, especially when you work in the commercial sector, but residential or B2C, you get to pick who you work with and like who you put up with. And like you guys and all of our clients that we work with are just some of the most respectful, badass, best attitudes, nicest people ever. And I'm so grateful and appreciative, especially for you guys and all that you do for us. But it's so cool. I want to jump into this real quick because I thought this is the coolest thing. You sent us a text the other day. You guys got a new pump truck. Tell us about that. Down in Miami. Like, what's the story behind that? How'd you get it? And how'd you work up to buying that?
Yeah, so we've thought about getting a new truck maybe like 2 years ago. we've started talking about it. We priced them out, and obviously the pricing's through the roof right now. Much different than our newest truck at the time was a 2010. So
Right.
pricing changed quite a bit. But anyways, we talked with the company EAM, Engine Accessory Manufacturing. Huge shout out to them.
Yeah.
They're down in Miami. Those guys, we were talking about salt of the earth, good people. They took us in, treated us like family. Well, they had a good truck in stock, ready to go. It's a hoist truck, exactly what we have right now. So the whole body raises up, which is huge for us, for dumping, but also for when we're backing up driveways and the load is shifted towards the front. You can level that tank out. I think I might have explained it to you or showed it to you when you were here. Yeah, so you can level the tank out and your load stays level, so that way the pump doesn't shut off early. You can really, pack on a lot of shit.
Yeah, dude. So it was that like a 4,000 gallon tank, or what's the size of?
Yeah, 4,000. It's actually got 200 freshwater, which is huge for us. I've always wanted to have freshwater on the truck. A lot of times you take a hose off, you're open closing the valve, and a little bit of stuff spills out on the driveway. You want to wash it off as quick as you can. You don't want to be running around for a hose on someone's house. Wintertime, the hose is off. There's no water. So just the professionalism of having your own water source is huge. But it also came with a 3,000 PSI jetter on the truck, hydraulic jetter. So now that opens up a whole new avenue for us. We can really get into not only, I mean, we carry a small hand snake, but you get a clogged pipe, we can jet the pipe, clean it, clear it. We can shove the camera down there afterwards.
Yeah.
Also comes with a pressure washer wand, so you got to wash the truck in remote area. Guess you'll be able to.
I saw you guys go down to Miami, and what I loved about it is just kind of like you mentioned a little bit ago, but the shout outs to the company. Like, not a lot of people do that when other vendors are taking care of them, but I just love how you guys were like, thank you guys so much for taking care of us, even though, like, you guys are the ones spending all the money, but it's like that is their job to take care of you, and they did an exceptional job. And so for you guys to like shout them out, to hang out, do all that stuff, I just thought that was so cool, because it just shows the respect that you have for them and the respect that you have for your partners of whoever you work with in business. Yeah,
and you hit the nail on the head with the word partner. Just like you and FaZe are our partner. Without you guys, we couldn't be doing what we're doing. And so without Engine Accessory, the team down in Miami, George, our salesman, everybody down there, we wouldn't be able to get this truck exactly the way we want. They put a whole bunch of little add-ons for us. They did it really quickly. The truck was they wanted to put the truck in a show down there in Daytona, so they had to really speed up the whole process. We drove the truck from Miami to Daytona, and then drove it from Daytona home. Went straight through, no stops. But they put us up in a great hotel. We went out to dinner with the owner of the company, other vendors. We met the tank manufacturer, the actual tank manufacturer. It was a really good time. Really good time. Learned a little bit too.
So walk me through a little bit. So you buy a new pump truck. Is that because you're going to be adding another pump truck driver and then adding another X amount of service calls a day, or how does that work?
Yeah, so that's part of it. Part of it's looking into the future. So our current newest truck is a 2010. We just rebuilt the engine in it last year. So you would say it should be good, ready to go. But we also have another truck. It's a 2006 Peterbilt. That's a 10-speed manual. It's a little underpowered, great truck, but that's our spare.
Gotcha.
There's a saying, one is none, two is one.
Yeah.
So, if one truck goes down, then we're left with the Peterbilt. Now, if Peterbilt has trouble, what are you left with? Nothing. So part of it was to make sure we have a really fantastically reliable, as reliable as a new truck can be, reliable truck, because it's out there every day, 10 to 12 hours. And then the other part is, in the future, I mean, I love by next year, even the year after, to have 2 trucks on the road every day. And then that would be great. Even if the second truck is me going out and doing 3 pumps a day. It's hard getting 2 on the road every day. That's a lot. It's tough.
Yeah. So, because right now you're probably doing eight pumps,
8 to 10.
8 to 10, and then
yeah,
is that just with the one truck then?
just with 1 truck, and that's a good 8 is a really good number. We have 2 guys on the truck. We have a driver, technician. We tell them they're both technicians. That's what they are, and professionals. But we have a driver, and he has a laborer. They both have their own specific jobs. They're both there for each other to help each other out. They keep the operation safe. So you gotta keep them both busy for that whole day. And 8 pumps seems to kind of be the magic number. If you end up with 7, that's okay, because sometimes you get an emergency during the day.
Yeah.
But very quickly, 8 can turn into 12, like it did pretty much for the whole month of July. We started with 8 and 12. They were doing 12, 13-hour days.
Damn.
And you want to, after seeing how hard they work and how many hours they're putting in and how busy we're getting, you want them to be in a new piece of equipment. They take pride in what they have right now. So the timing was right.
Yeah. So you said something that really stuck out to me, and I've heard before. So you said we call them technicians, and they are professionals. I also talked to Dervin and Jason Spangle, Dervin Whitmer with Dig It, and I was speaking out at their conference, the MSTA conference in Michigan, and they talked about that a lot. And they said, how do you empower people, to work? And like, you guys are professionals. You guys are public health professionals. They talked about, and it is a serious job, and it is a something that you need to take seriously. And so I really like how you call them technicians, because their job isn't just show up, pump, leave. They need to educate the client as well. And so I feel like you guys are some of the best in the industry at, when you show up, your interactions with the clients.
It's huge.
What tips do you have for anyone listening? And it doesn't just have to be septic, but excavating, land management, anyone listening, like, how do you educate a client and help that get you to that next step?
Yeah. So, going back to what you said about like empowering your employees, we'll just want to touch base on that really quick.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily a fun job. It's not a clean job. It's not a desirable job. Many people don't grow up saying, unless you're my son or my 4-year-old or my 2-year-old, that they want to drive a poopy truck. So you have to show them that what they're doing is very important to us, important to our customers, and show them, take pride in what you do, your equipment, yourself, our name, and our customers. Without the customers, we'd be nothing. So as far as educating, a lot of people, maybe they're afraid to, a lot of construction owners or employees, maybe they're afraid to just talk. You don't need to have a whole lot of fancy words when you talk to a customer. You can break it down really simple for them. One of the things I do is if it's a new customer, first thing you do right away is you introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Brian. I'm with Andersons. A lot of times I don't even tell them it's my business with my father. I don't even tell them it's our, let that just kind of come up in conversation. But then I ask them, hey, have you ever been on septic before? Do you know what a septic system is? Do you know where your tank is? Do you know how it operates? It takes 5 minutes to really break it down simply for them. And then they feel really comfortable with you being at their property. They may not feel a need to sit out there and watch you. They may not want to watch you, but if you don't talk to them and break things down and introduce yourself, then they feel like they have to watch you. And so you got to talk to the customer, ask them questions, see if they, do you have any questions? Anything concerning you? Do you want to see how we do this? And a lot of times now post COVID, everyone's on Zoom calls and they're working during the day. So a lot of people say, nah, no big deal. Just send me a report. Let me know if anything comes up. And I'll say that too. I say, hey, listen, no news is good news.
Yep.
You'll get some remarks on the invoice. Any questions, just always call.
Cool.
So you see, very simply, just talk. Just take 5 minutes and talk. That's it. Nothing it's really nothing. It's not rocket science,
Yeah. So on that point, I think this is a big part that is missed by a lot of septic companies. How do you stay in touch with them, and how do you make sure that they're doing their routine maintenance? They have you come back out, because most people, and I'm part of that, I'd say like 98% of people don't think about like, oh yeah, it's been X amount of years, I need to go pump my tank. So how do you stay in front of them? How do you continuously keep them updated with their tank?
Right. So it started out years ago. We still do it, and 99% of septic companies do it. You send reminder cards.
Yeah.
So when you book a septic appointment, my sister, shout out to Sam, who's in
Shout
the,
out Sam.
who's in the office. She learned this from my mother, who ran the office. When you book a septic appointment, we book your appointment for whatever is next week, week after. But then at the same time we book it, we also we have pre-printed reminder cards with our picture, a picture of, I think it's an old septic truck on it, our logo.
Mhm.
On the back, it says, hey, it's a reminder to pump your tank. We put a date, like a future date of a year, 2 years, whatever their interval is. We already make that reminder card out and put it in a box to be sent out in 1 year, or 30 days shy of 1 year. So every appointment we make has an automatic reminder card that's already put in for the next appointment.
Is it like a folder that has a date on it?
Yeah, it's a small, these are like little postcards. So then we have little boxes to hold these postcards, and they all have
Gotcha.
like the month and the date. I'm probably screwing this up. Sam could explain it a lot better than I can.
You're not a great office guy, I can tell.
No, I learned that a lot this year. So that's the way we've always been doing it. And recently, about 2 years ago, conveniently, right as we signed on with you and Phaser, we picked a new software program for our pumping.
Yep.
Which has blown up our pumping and made things drastically simpler. Which automatically sends out email reminders. So when we pump their tank, we put in, it's called the service due notice. So they get their invoice, and then it says, hey, service is due in 1 year, 2 years, and automatically 30 days before this next service is due, they get the reminder on their email. And right at that time, the postcard goes in their mail too. And then I think they get 4 emails. If they don't answer, they keep coming every like 7 days or some stuff like that. So, but that is the biggest struggle right now, is we can go back and see how many people didn't answer their service due notices. It's hundreds. They always call. They'll call 6-7 months later and say, hey, I'm backing up, or hey, I totally forgot. But or you know what? You lose a customer. It happens all the time. You maybe they're like, found someone cheaper.
Yeah, and that's totally okay. And
totally fine.
In my opinion, you don't want to be the cheapest.
No.
And so you have your people, your service, your software, the things you invest in, and it's much, much better to be in that middle of the road to the highest, because you're giving the most value, I think. So, yeah, man, I just love that, the value that you provide to your clients, but also it's still difficult because, most people, they're just not thinking about that. And unfortunately, like, you're trying to save them money by coming out and pumping and doing a routine maintenance. But unfortunately, it's going to happen on a Thanksgiving morning where
and we'll answer the phone, man. I'll answer the phone. Dad will answer the phone. Sam will. The other thing too, which COVID changed a lot of things, completely changed the industry. I think it's better for us as being in the septic business. Septic systems are getting just crushed. There's more people living at home, staying at home, more water usage. So septic systems are taking a toll. But with people being at home, you now have an opportunity when you service their tank. Previously, they weren't home. They were
Gotcha.
away at the office. So now you have an opportunity, open their septic tank up, go get them. Hey, before I pump your tank, do you want to take a look at it? It's gross, but are you curious? Or, hey, I just want to tell you there's a ton of baby wipes, or look, there's powdered soap buildup. Here's what your filter looks like. This is why we change your filter every year, or every service. So we now have an advantage. If people are home, bring them outside, show them, talk to them, and then that image will stick in their head. Like, I won't forget about this again.
Yeah, I think of it similar to like a mechanic. Like I love it when a mechanic, and I know enough about cars, but I love it when they'll bring me back and just like, can you show me what's going on or what's happening and how that connects to this? And
it's it's funny because the old school generation would take that as, what, you don't trust me? Or what? Right. Like, why do you need to see my work? Like, just leave me alone and let me work.
Right.
That's old school, man. The new school is literally is you just saying, no, I trust you. I just need to know how it works.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I'm just curious. Like, I just want to see, because I have no idea. And I think having that humility, I think, in my opinion, a lot of people I know, and especially in these early generations, are just more curious. Like, I have no idea, and they have a little bit of humility as well to be like, can you teach me? Like, I just don't know anything about this. And
a lot of people are afraid. Like I said, they have the humility. They can't get out there and say, like, I want to see it. So, as a technician, owner, employee, whatever, you should be able to pick up on that.
Open the door for them.
Open the door for them. Give them the option and let them say, hey, no, I don't want to see it. We're located in Fairfield County, and we're getting a big influx of New Yorkers, people from New York City that are coming up here. They want the house, the property. They want to get out of the city life and into the rural life. So they don't have any experience with septic. There's times where I go to a house to pump the tank, and they're like, yeah, our realtor told us you got to pump something. I'm like, well, did you get a septic inspection when you bought your house? They're like, no. I'm like, all right, well,
they skip the inspection process, probably.
They totally skip it. Yeah. They're like, we just wanted to get in the house. We don't care about the septic.
Oh man.
So we get that too.
Yeah. You gotta have it. But and for anyone still listening to the episode here, this is Brian Andronaco with Andersons Septic on Instagram at Andersons.septic. Give him a follow. Probably one of the best follows out there, along with James Sticksmith, Canadian Septic. Got to plug him because I have learned more about the septic industry from your two profiles than anything. And I mean that. And I know everyone else could say the same. So if you don't follow him, give him a follow now. And also, at the beginning of the episode, we had a shout out to Tiger Tough. They've been sponsoring us for the last probably 6 or 8 months now. They've been a huge supporter of the podcast. They've got the best, most badass seat covers for any piece of equipment, any truck, and now side-by-sides as well. So it's hitting all of our markets.
I just ordered a set for the new pump truck.
No way.
Yeah. I got the logo on it and everything.
Let's go. Shout out Tiger Tough.
Yeah, man, Tiger Tough.
And they're Minnesota based, and so that worked out for Luke and I so much better as well. And just like American made, Minnesota based, we're like, hell yeah, let's do this.
And you can text them too.
Yep, yeah, you can text them. I mean, they're salt of the earth people. So huge shout out to them. I switched up a little bit because I really want to dive into this a little bit. So we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but so when I got to come out and visit you guys, I got to visit your HQ, visit the shop, sit in the pump truck, do all this stuff, see the whole operation and everything. And we've been working together for a while. But what I respect so much about you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you grow at the speed of cash. And what I mean by that is you strategically and methodically purchase equipment, hire people, and bring in systems when it makes the most sense to take that next step up. And I feel like some people in the industry go way too fast and they just expect I can just buy everything brand new. The work will come when I have the equipment. And
Yeah.
I just don't believe that that's the case. So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on that. And is that accurate? I mean, you guys have been doing this for so long. Like, I feel like you're planning for the next 10, 20, 30 years as well.
Yeah, that is probably the best question. And that's the number one thing I think that keep people awake and we think about every single day.
Mhm.
When it comes down to purchasing equipment, making that leap, I kind of lean back on my father. I'll just say, hey, what do you think? He's been doing it since the 80s.
Yeah.
So he's gone through, so much equipment and ups and downs, slow times, good times, bad times, employees. So I'll always lean on him and say, is this the right time? A lot of times, couple times, he'll be like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I don't know, man. Let's
Let's try
so
it.
let's try it. So we sleep on it. But yeah, grow at the speed of cash. You gotta step back and think, all right, am I busy right now? All right, yeah, it's springtime. Everyone's busy. All right, am I
Yeah.
gonna be busy in the summertime? Do I have work lined up? Do I have a month of work, 2 months of work? I don't know, there's really no answer to when you should buy equipment or trucks, but I think for us it helps when we're on a job. I say to myself, damn, I really wish I had that piece of equipment on this job. All right, you say it once. Now you do another job. I could use that piece of equipment here. Or you look
Yeah.
ahead and you're like, I think I could use that at the next job. If it just comes into your head multiple times, and even if you may not have the projected work for it,
Mhm.
my father said, I think you just brought it up. Get it and the work will come.
Hmm.
Part of that's true. It's a huge, huge leap of faith, but a lot of that's true. When you get the equipment, you're going to realize how much more you can do with it, and you're going to start to branch off and do different types of jobs.
Yeah, I will jump in here though. I think one thing to consider is your credit history and how much
Oh,
you
huge,
can, because
huge.
like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, you guys through Andronaco Excavating have a great credit line. You have great relationships with banks. We have many clients who have been in business 2, 3, 4 years, and
Yeah,
they couldn't get a $50,000 line of credit if they begged for it. And these are real people. And so it's it also depends on your situation. And if you're a single income household and your wife just had their second baby and she's staying home, it's like maybe we should, and I don't know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
totally up for your risk level as well.
And that's tough because on one hand you could say, hey, I don't have a lot of money, so let me go buy a used piece of equipment and just run it, and it's what I can afford, and let me make some money, and it doesn't owe me anything. But on the other side, you're like, well, that used piece of equipment might cause breakdowns. So
Yeah.
I'm at a point in my life I can't afford breakdowns. So why didn't I just get a new piece of equipment and finance it at 0% for whatever years, and I'll deal with the monthly payment. But I know every day I'm going to turn the key, it's going to fire up.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
hard
I mean,
part.
that's huge too. Like, do you
Huge.
hire a full-time mechanic at Andersons Septic, or do you
Ah,
get a,
my father, myself, we have a mechanic that comes to our shop,
yeah.
kind of at will. We have a shop that we built a really good relationship with,
Yeah.
but you got to know your limits of what you can do too.
Yeah.
There's days where dad and I will walk around and be like, man, that needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. We got to do this, this, and this. And I drive and I'm like, I could use a mechanic right now. I could keep him
Yeah.
busy for a week. But then
Yeah.
after that week, what do you do? You
Yeah.
know?
And how do you pay them full time? And there
Yeah.
are a lot of companies that I know in the space that do have a full-time mechanic where it makes sense, but you just also need to know where your business is at, and
Yeah.
not just right now. Like you said, we can
Think
busy
about
for
it.
a week, but
Yeah.
think about it for the next 6 months. Like, would they be able to
Yeah.
stay busy at a salary?
And you've got to show some respect to your employees too. You can't just hire employees so quick where you say, I'm busy right now, I need them, I need them. All right.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you need them now. You'll give them 40 hours now, but when they come here, you want to tell them that this is their home.
Yep.
This is where they're gonna grow. We're gonna grow with them. So we have to be honest with them and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you 40 hours until November. After November, it might slow down. or he's, so you want to make sure there's work for them. You don't want to lead them on. And but going back to like the new equipment, what I've noticed, I guess you can call it the Instagram effect, the social media effect, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Luke and I talk about that all the time, dude.
I might have caught a podcast where you said it. Yeah. It's that's where a lot of these businesses see what other companies have. Like, wow, they have. I think Luke's got black cat equipment.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God, he's got brand new black fancy cat equipment. I got to get it. I got to get it. I got to get it. Like they just assume that just happened. Now, if Luke didn't start up with, or company didn't start with used equipment, that's fine. But no one knows how he felt every night going to bed with those loans over his head and how hard he had to work to offset that. They just see the equipment and they think it's cool and fancy stuff.
Him and I talk about that all the time because it is awesome, but then it can have such a negative effect for people that can't handle it or just different circumstances. Honestly, like Luke and I are so different, and that's why I think we've worked out so well together because he has done so well with his business and for himself, just by being so aggressive with their strategy, and where I'm a lot more conservative. And there's been people that have tried to follow his footsteps more so on the equipment side that are now like, putting in jeopardy, their whole family in jeopardy. But
it's huge.
I also think back to, I'm like, that is risk and that is business. And it's part of it, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not hard to figure out how to get out there and make the money to be able to fund all that. But it's very simple. You just got to wake up and work. That's it. No matter what you get done during the day, just go to work. Find something productive to do. If it's a rainy day and you can't be on the job, all right, do something for the business. Do you spend the day doing marketing? Do you spend the day working on equipment? Don't just like, it's a rain day, let me just stay home.
Right.
The people who do that are the people like who they're not going to be able to front that new equipment. So new or used equipment, you can do it. You just got to be able to take the risk and accept the risk.
Yeah.
But
and
also
own it, really, and like own the risk.
We love old equipment, though. I mean, there's nothing better than old trucks. We love old trucks. I'll take an old truck over a new one any day. Any day.
Dude, it was so awesome seeing your guys' place. And like, I mean, we've been working together so long. I'm like, it is so good to be here and like see fun. Everything in its glory. And it was so awesome. So I'm excited to go back out. So we talked about her earlier. We're going to dive into a little bit more because I think it's probably one of the most important pieces of, especially when there's a septic company, somebody listening, maybe they're the owner, and things just aren't scaling as quickly or as strategically as they thought. But how important is Sam's role in your company? And so this is your sister Sam. She is
Sam. Yep.
I like her title should be the president. But it's like, if you could describe a little bit about like how much she's changed your business, and then also how much your business changed when she went on maternity leave. I think that give a good glimpse into how important this role is, and then describe the role a little bit as well, please. Good.
So shout out to Sam. She'll watch this, and I won't tell her about the shout. We'll just let her see. We'll see if she listens to the whole episode.
She won't.
She won't. So she I don't even know where to start. I'll put it to you this way. If there's any other owners out there listening, to be able, I can go out, my father and I can go out, we can work, and I could literally leave my phone in my truck all day. I don't, but I could leave it in my truck all day, and Sam could answer every single question that a customer has that calls. Every single question. She can answer it pretty much as well as my father and I could, to the point where that customer is comfortable hanging up the phone, knowing, hey, I just got a lot of information from Sam about my question. Now I'm going to be waiting for a phone call back from Brian. So she can handle the phones. She can handle the questions. She does everything from payroll to billing to pump scheduling, invoices, permitting. She runs around the town halls. She pulls permits for us, banking, everything, damage control. I mean, she'll truck registrations, truck insurance, permits for the dumps. I can go on for days. So much so that we actually hired some temporary help before she went on maternity leave to train them. And and now we realized how much Sam does. So now we actually have another girl part-time still, because it's just, the office has grown so much. Yeah, being able to trust someone with your customers, there's no feeling like it.
I mean, and I feel like one of the biggest pieces to growth is simply answering the phone and being where you are, like answering and being focused on the conversation, not being running around, not, just so she answers, and she's answers on the first or second ring, ready to go, has the questions ready. And these people have no idea what they're asking about, but they have a problem and need some help. And so she just gets them going, gets them feeling comfortable, and then gets them scheduled in.
What you just said about answering the phone, that is it. If you can answer the phone and call people back, just live up to your promise, I guess you can call it, you will get the business. We have a problem here, not us, but other companies. I've gone to multiple houses, I've talked to homeowners, and they'll be like, listen, I called 3 other companies. Either they didn't answer, they said they're going to be out here, they didn't come, or they didn't show up, or they just, voicemails. That's it. So we take a lot of pride in answering the phone and calling people back. My dad says, you call, we answer, call, we come running. I had a emergency pump on Sunday. It was like, I don't know, 1:00 p.m. and a new customer called, said, hey, explain the situation. They're backing up. I said, all right, happy to come out tonight. He's like, all right, great. And one of the first things he asked me is, he said, are you the owner? I said, yeah, no, I'm one of them. So my father and I, we run the business, and my sister's in the office. He goes, that's fantastic. So it's a family business. I said, yep. He goes, you're hired. He goes, I don't even care how much.
Let's go.
If you're a customer, I wouldn't say that, but
right.
So I went down there. It happened to be in one of the farthest away towns that we service. On Sunday, it's a brutal spot to get to. Got there it's in Greenwich, Connecticut, which is the first town as you get into New York.
Gotcha.
Notoriously, there's just tons of traffic both ways on Sunday. It was brutal. But we got down there, and he said, listen, I called 3 other companies before I got to you guys, and which is fine, because we don't us and Phaser, we don't push a lot of work down in Greenwich, Google, like SEO, map wise, which is totally fine. But I'm happy he got to us. He said the first guy he called, and the voicemail said, if I don't answer, send me a text message. So it's obviously going right to his cell phone, which is fine. Right. So he sent the guy a text message, and the guy didn't answer, but he could see that he read the text message.
Oh,
I'm like, dude,
that's like the worst.
Dude, all you have to do is just say, hey, got your message. I'm tied up.
Can you
call somebody else? Or that's it. Like, just answer the text message.
Or turn your red receipts off.
Right.
I mean, one of the two.
Rookie move, man, having that on. And then the following, the other companies, he said, just didn't answer. They didn't answer. So how do you just not answer your phone? So shout out to Sam for answering our phone. That is, if you answer the phone, I tell everyone who wants to book a pump, I'm like, don't book it through me. I'm horrible. Call Sam, get the full experience. It's worth it.
And a piece of that too, that we love. So we're obviously on the digital marketing side that work with septic companies and excavation companies. And we love a good point of contact. And I
Yeah.
think that's very important to realize is that going to be you, the owner, which a lot of times it is, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But if you, the owner, is also the operator, is also doing the books, is also doing everything,
Yeah.
maybe not a good point of contact. And so it also depends on where you're at and scale with the
Right.
company.
Right.
But if you're able to have a good point of contact in the office, like an office manager, somebody
Yeah.
answering the phones, just somebody to handle these things, it can
Yeah.
really open up your business. And I know we talked about it a lot on the show, but delegation is massive.
Oh man,
Once you start
it's huge.
realizing what you're not great at, and even if
Yeah.
you are good at it, somebody else is better, and
There's
they
always
can
someone better. There's
absolutely.
always, yeah. And um I've talked to a couple buddies of mine who are in relatively same position. I said, all right, I said, you don't need a Sam. I mean, you do need a
They're not
Sam, but
they're not
you don't.
available.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
We took them. We patented
Yeah.
that right away. Um, you need someone who shows up every day you
Yep.
ask them to. If your business hours are 8 to 4, you want them answering that phone from 8 to 4.
Yep.
If all they do is answer the phone and take a message and say, "Hey, this isn't an emergency. I'm going to take your information. I'm going to pass it to Brian. I'm going to pass it to whoever, and they're going to call you back."
Yep.
That's it. That's 90% of the battle right there. So if you can solve that, and then the rest can come with training. But yeah, Sam turned the whole office around completely. Um, you mentioned when she was on maternity leave.
Yeah.
That was the most stressful 3 months
Chaos.
of, yeah, it was pure chaos. My father just came back. He did his
Florida.
2-ish. Yeah, he calls it 2 months. It was 3 months. It was 11 weeks. He said it was 8 weeks. It was 11
11
weeks.
weeks. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you round down to 2 months.
Yeah. So he did his Florida, winter Florida trip. So he just came back from that. Sam was just about to go on maternity leave, so we had like maybe a month of working together.
Yeah.
And springtime, the phones were off the hook, busy. Installs, pumping, repairs, new this, insane. Then Sam went off on maternity leave, and I just found myself sitting here at the shop. I'm like, wait a minute, I have to bill out. So I'm texting Sam like QuickBooks, like, how do I do this? I had to FaceTime her, and she's like, all right, click this. I'm like, all right. So I would text the customer, like, hey, I literally said this. I'm like, listen, Sam's on maternity leave. I'm new at this.
Listen.
Just let me know if you get the invoice or not. That's all I care about.
Give me some grace. Like
Yeah.
I'm still working out email here.
Yeah, yes. So, but that goes back. I realized really quickly how important her role is and how important that role is.
Yeah.
I don't, when I, Dad and I work 10 plus hour days on the job, and then to come back and have to do billing and accounting, and it's not possible. You will not grow. You will cripple yourself, and you just won't get anywhere.
Yeah, man. And I think the first thing that comes to my mind when you say that is a lot of people listening, they might feel like, okay, well, we're gonna have to pay for that person. So they're going like this, and then they're gonna go down a little bit,
Yeah.
but then it's gonna take them past where they could ever get by themselves. And it's like the classic quote: "If you want to go quick, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with the team." And like what you said there is it's so spot on. And so for people listening, like, yes, you're going to make less money for a short amount of time because it is a salary. But then when you open your mind to realize like what other people can do for your company, it can take you to that next level and beyond.
Yeah, especially find someone who's passionate about it, who's passionate about their job. You don't want the person who's literally just getting off of a shift at another job and then coming to your job just to pay the bills. Yes, they have to pay the bills, but you want them to take pride in what they do.
Yeah.
And if that means taking them out in the pump truck or taking them on the job and saying, hey, listen, Jane Doe, here's what we do. When someone calls you, this is what they're experiencing. This is what you're helping. It might take that. So we're happy that Sam's passionate about it. Happy she's back from maternity leave. Shout out to my wife for putting up with me not coming home till 10 o'clock at night, almost every night. It's support is everything.
Oh,
everything.
man. We've talked about that a lot on this show, and we had the Dirtbagettes episode and
That's
everything. And
great. I didn't know about that. That's great.
How important is support in this industry from, we'll say, your significant other or your
Yeah.
spouse, and in your case, your wife? Like, how important is that? Because you couldn't do what you do without her support.
Yeah.
At all. Not even close.
No, not even close. I mean, it would be a very lonely ride. You could do it. It would just be lonely.
You wouldn't be living a good life, I would say that.
No. And you got to look at what are we doing this for?
Yeah.
Am I doing it to build and sell? Are we doing it for generational wealth? Are we doing it? What are you doing it for? So, you talk about support. I don't know if now's a good time. You want to dive into kind of want to make my transition from my previous career to now to this. My wife was a huge she was there the whole step away. There was times where she's like, I don't know, I'm not sure. But if you want, we can dive into that, and it'll probably segue pretty nicely about support.
Yeah, let's do it.
So going back, so I worked with my father ever since I was probably 10 years old, younger than that. I remember riding in the truck with him when I was little and getting paid $1 an hour.
Come on.
Yeah, man. I know.
Wait,
I know.
Before taxes? No, I'm kidding.
Had to be before taxes.
It was taxes to your dad, I'm sure. A quarter, a buck.
Yeah, there's a whole tax break if you pay your kids or something like that. That's what he was using it for.
Yeesh.
So yeah, I remember I always liked seeing on Fridays the guys would get their paychecks. And I think who knows if I said this, but I keep thinking I said this. I'm like, man, that'd be cool to get a paycheck. So then he would pay me $1 an hour. So I've always every summer worked here. When I got out of high school, I went to college full time, tried that for a year, and said, I'm not all about college, but let me do part-time college and full-time work. My major was criminal justice. I wanted to become a police officer. I ended up becoming a cop, which was actually my father's idea. First, he kind of planted the seed. I had to be maybe like 17, 18 years old, 18 years old, I don't know. And we were on a road job, and we're doing a water service or something. It's cold, it's raining, it's wet, and there's a cop directing traffic. He's like, see that? That's the job you want. It's like he's got a pension, health care, making great money on a road job. And that kind of got me thinking about it. Then we started, as time went on, talking about job security. Job security is huge, especially right now. Anyone who gets a job, they're like, all right, is this going to be a forever job? So I ended up becoming a police officer in 2014, right when I turned 21. Got hired right out of, I didn't even finish college. I still haven't finished college. My wife, I have 19 credits left for my bachelor's.
That bowling class and a couple, geometry,
like hiking or something, right?
Hiking.
So I did that for like 8.5-ish years. I enjoyed it for like the first 5 years. It was fun. It was a cool job. And then I want to say in 2020, right before we had our first son, my son Corey, I started thinking, which is kind of when everything changed in the world, the country, the outlook on police and everything, but that didn't really affect it. Once I had my son, my whole outlook on life changed. I started to think, all right, like, what am I leaving the house for? What am I putting literally 80, 90 hours a week? What am I putting that into? Am I putting it just into a paycheck? Am I putting it into I'm putting it into a town that maybe you don't feel like they appreciate you. So once I started realizing that, I said, I don't know if I can do this for another 20 years. Weighed out all the options, ran all the numbers, the pension numbers, the this, that. And I'm like, you know what? That's really not that great of a package. So I hit up my father, said, hey, don't really like what I'm doing. Got a spot for me? And he's like, yeah, come on back, like whenever. He's like, come ride the truck, come pump, I don't know, do some jobs.
What year was this?
That was 2020. That was like
Gotcha.
the end of 2020. So what I ended up doing was I left I ultimately I left the police force in 22. So from 2020 to 2022, I would work the septic business during the day, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7, whatever, till 3 or 4. And then
Yep.
I would go down to the police department and work an evening shift till midnight. And I did that just so I could say, hey, am I still into this? Do I still like it? Do I still like the septic trade? And then I said, all right, if I like it, is it profitable? Is this something I can feed my family with? Is this something I can grow? I needed to work it. I couldn't just jump.
Right.
My original plan was to wait until I hit my 10-year mark, because I'm sure, like a lot of places, if you hit your 10 years, you're vested. At some point in your life, you'll get a little bit of your pension. Everyone told me either A, don't leave because you have a pension and job security and whatever, or wait till you hit your 10-year. Everyone said that. Not one person said, maybe, no, I'm sorry. A handful of people did say, leave right now. It's what, do something. So it became a battle of like just in my own head, going to work every day and just not getting any satisfaction out of what I was doing. There was no pride in my work anymore. You go in, put your gear on, you go to work, you disappear in your car, you pull over cars, you answer calls, but you come home and you're like, what did I do today? What did I do for my family? Brought home a paycheck. All right. Well, what did I build for myself? I didn't see any of that. So once we had our second child in 22, I was like, 8.5 years. I was a year and a half away from becoming vested. I jumped ship. I left. It was the absolute best thing ever. And the business was at a point where I had to leave then. Right now, it's either now, shit or get off the pot. That's it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
That's gonna be the
That's it, right?
title of this episode.
Broke that down somewhere around here. Shit or get off the pot.
Genius.
So my father said, listen, I'm thinking he was starting to downsize. He sold some equipment. He was gonna run just a pump truck and a guy with him and go do little repairs and kind of just ride off into retirement like that.
Yeah.
And he said, if you want to do this, let's do it. Let's do it now. And he's still young enough. He's 60 or 61, and he's still young enough where he can put in, good days work. And I have a lot to learn. I still have so much to learn. So I said to myself, I need to leave now so that I can learn everything I can. Life is short. You don't know what's going to happen to anybody. So in that whole decision-making process, I went to Nicole, my wife, and I brought it up. At first she was like, I don't know. Same thing everyone says, secure job. It's got great medical.
It's hard to pass up. I mean, I feel what everyone's thinking. I mean, it is.
Oh, and I felt it too. Literally all you have to do to get a paycheck in the civil service world, the town job world, whatever it is, show up. That's it. Just show up. And if you don't show up, you can use one of your 5 vacation weeks or something, or, use a sick day. Like, just show up and you get your paycheck. So we talked about it, and I think part of me also had to prove to her and prove to everybody like that this is what I wanted to do. This is something I see potential in. Yeah. And it's not just going to be a septic business where we just go out and pump and do job. It's going to be our life. It's going to be a life for us, hopefully for my kids if they want it. If they don't, it's totally fine. But we've got to grow it into something more than what it is. So in that 2 years that I was doing both, I think she was able to see how passionate I was about it. Yeah. And that I was actually serious about it, not just like an overnight thing. But funny, I don't know, funny, but oddly enough, in that 2 years, and towards the end, so February of 2022, the business was hit with some serious like heartbreaking news. Well, we can dive into that if you want, unless you had some other
Dude,
plans for
you
the pod.
can't leave us on a cliffhanger here.
I know we could do like volume 2 or something. No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
There is no volume 2. This is
Yeah,
it, man. This
this is
is
it.
this is you can't leave
So,
us hanging here.
sit before this one.
Yeah, because February 2022, this is like probably 10 months before we start working together.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we gotta dive into it
We
here.
gotta dive into that too. Just I don't know if we'll have time, man, but dive into like at least your phone call with my father. You know?
Oh, the oil change. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll hit that at the end here.
So, all right. So, February 2022, around there. I planned. I had it in my head. I had it in my phone. October 1st, 2022. I was leaving the police department. I wrote my letter of resignation in my phone. I actually wrote it on like an evening shift. I was sitting in the car, and I'm sitting just in a parking lot. It's evening shift. I'm tired, and I'm like, it was at a point where I was so fed up. I wrote my letter of resignation on my phone. I'm like, I will send this at some point. I picked the date, October 1st, 2022. So February of 2022, the business was run by my father. My sister Sam was actually part-time at that time, part-time office. Full-time office was another family member, my father's side, who she ran the office. She did my sister's job. So in February, my father was going away on vacation on his Florida trip, and I said, hey, he knew I was leaving in October. I said, listen, while you're gone, what do we need done? Is there any bills to pay? This and that. He said, no, but listen, he goes, let me put you on, on the bank account as a signer, just in case God forbid something happens, got ready to check, go to the bank, whatever. So okay, cool. So like a couple days after we did that, he left, went on vacation. And I said, I haven't really dove into as a lot like the financials business. Like I haven't really seen account balances, this and that. So let me go to the bank. So I go to the bank. It's like, hey, can you give me like a statement for like past year? Like, yeah, no problem. So I take it. Go home
at this point. You just wanted to see kind of what was.
Yeah. I just kind of wanted to see. I don't know where the business was at, how much money it had, how much money was like super quick. I know nothing about finances, but my wife Nicole, she said it. She's like, how much is in. She's in there, where's money going? She's like, you should know that stuff before you get into this. That was something I kind of put off for a while. So I grab a statement. I'm in bed one night looking through it, and I'm like, uh-oh. Well, first off, the business has $4,000. How's that possible? And then I start seeing like charges that are just not business related at all. Charges from casinos, vacations, stores, just every picture charge, anything not septic company related.
Yeah.
So I text my father and I'm like, hey, you own the business. It's your money. You're free to do whatever you want with it, but I just need to know, did you spend almost $3,000 at a casino? He's like, no, wasn't me. I'm like, all right, we have a problem. So I then went back. I think I went back 3 years, maybe. I think I went back 3 years total, and we ended up coming up with a total of like around 250K. That was misspent, I guess you can say. By his.
That's very generous.
Yeah. I don't like shit talking or anything, but
yeah.
But yeah, so the business was being financially run like shit. It was behind on every single bill. Most all of our vendors did not get paid when they were supposed to get paid. And it was of no fault. It wasn't my father's fault at all. He's very old school. He's under the mindset of go out, work, get the job done. Check comes in, here, pass the check along to the office person.
Mm-hmm.
She deposits it. She pays the bills. And my dad kind of had a running tally in his head of, hey, I'm working this job. We got this much money for it. This is how much money we should have in our bank account. And going back to what you're saying about, delegation,
Yep.
him and I really shouldn't have to worry too much about that. That's why we have Sam in the office. We go out, we work, we know what's in there. So yeah, so for years he did that. He just went out, worked, kind of knew what was in the business. But the business was not doing good at all. So now here we are, February of 22. I planned on leaving October 1st of 22. And the business has $4,000 in the account. Payroll can barely be made. And payroll wasn't huge. It was not big at all. But we have vendors who were owed a lot of money, and found out we were short, $250K stolen, we could say. So now I had a decision to make. Do I say, you know what, that's it, I'm bowing out. I'm going to stick with the policing career. I'm going to stick with a steady paycheck, healthcare, steady workflow, good money. I don't want to get into this web of just problems. Or get involved, fix it, work hard, make money, and sort it out. So we started literally the next day. I had Sam calling every single vendor that we owed to, telling them, hey, this is exactly what happened. I'm really, really sorry. We're going to sort it out, and you will get it. And every single vendor was like insanely appreciative. We're like squared away right away. So yeah, so now fast forward, and here we are. Yeah, you just got to be committed to it. We were all committed. Dad, Sam, myself, my wife. She helped me go through a lot of the paperwork.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, it's, for people listening, it's probably way too common. Like there's
Oh my
probably
gosh, this is nothing.
a handful of people. There's probably a handful of people listening that have gone through or are going through something like this, and unfortunately, it's way too common. And I think a good example you brought up is just like checks and balances of having somebody, ideally also the owner, kind of knowing what's going on, but somebody different checking on the business, checking on the finances and everything, because the stuff happens and
man,
it
so
sucks.
easy too. It's so easy. Like you go out, you wake up, you come to the shop, you get the guys going, you go to your job, you work, you get home, you're tired. We're not thinking about it, and I'm not thinking about the AT&T bill, and I'm not looking like, I'm also, we now everything's on the phone. We can look at the balances every day on our phone, but there's days you don't. And there's some days I don't have the time to just scroll through and look at every charge. My dad was in the position where he didn't have the time to do it, and it was very new tech, and he didn't do it, and someone took advantage of him and took advantage of the business. And it was crushing, man. It was really crushing. And can you imagine all your hard work?
Oh, dude.
Wild.
My last job I worked at, same thing happened. And my boss was just salt of the earth, the kindest person. And he went through a very similar thing where, it was a similar amount too. And just over the years, somebody had put his trust and everything into, and it unfortunately happens. So I think just having more than one person, at least looking over that, and then as the owner, just having your finger on the pulse. And
that's it.
Yeah.
You can't let it consume you. You can't wake up every day and just spend spend hours and hours going through it. So yeah, have your finger on the pulse. At least if you're the owner, if like I'm fortunate, I trust Sam. We trust Sam. We don't even need to ask questions. She handles everything. She'll ask us. She'll send us pictures of the charges. She'll be like, "Hey, is this legit? What's
Who's
this?"
this phaser marketing?
Yeah. What's this
gibberish?
phaser guy, man? So yeah. So she's on top of it. So I know I don't really, we can trust her, but that's part of the risk. That's one of the risks of I think owning a business is you have to trust someone else with that position too.
Yeah.
You can't do that yourself. You
Yeah.
can, but you're gonna kill yourself.
Absolutely. And I'll keep going back on this too. The owner, at the end of the day, it's their responsibility to,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's their responsibility to just make sure that, like, even if it's once a quarter or whatever it might be,
Right.
we're
Right.
checking in on these things and
Right.
making sure that it all makes sense at the very basic level. So,
Yeah. Let it make sense.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, we teamed up. Sam took that whole that was a serious job. Not only was there money spent in places it shouldn't have been spent, but QuickBooks coding was just a mess.
horrendous, I bet.
Horrendous. I mean, bad.
Very
Uh,
shitty.
very shitty as it could be. So that had to get dealt with. I didn't do much of that. Sam did all of that. It was a shitstorm. But if you just go back to the simple, just wake up, go to work,
Yeah,
just do the work. That's it. Do the work. The rest will follow. If the phones are ringing, you're doing something right.
absolutely.
That's it,
Yeah, and it's great lessons too. And I know we touched on this earlier, and like with the marketing and everything. And I always tell people, I tell our clients that we work with, the digital marketing that we do isn't going to change your business or like save your business. It is maybe
Right.
20% of the pie that you
Right.
need to run a successful business. And it might even be a little bit less in some cases. So
Yeah.
we are not 90% of what makes it successful. And
Although
you
it
guys,
certainly feels like it sometimes, man. It
well,
really
hold
does.
on here. But you need to have the core values as a business, and you need
Yeah.
to go through these things and educate your customers and go out and accomplish the work and go above and beyond people's expectations and answer the phone and
Yeah.
have people in the office that are willing to just make people feel comfortable. So, like, yes, it's very important, but at the same time too, your other business, the other parts of your business need to be worked on as well. And you can't just
Right.
give the keys to an agency and say, "Yep, save my business from going
Yeah.
out of business." It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I think we said it from the start. You get it's like this with everything. You get out what you put in.
Absolutely.
I mean, our website, I get compliments on daily about our website, literally every single day. And
Woo.
and I'm gonna tell everyone listening right now,
We're gonna clip this right here.
yeah, we we haven't Luke, we haven't touched that website since it was launched, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I haven't had to touch it. I've wanted to. How many times have I texted you and I'm like, dude, I think
14.
tonight, yeah, I think tonight I'm gonna work on the website, or like I'm gonna email, like I'm gonna hop on the Trello board and like change stuff. But it just doesn't happen because I have two little kids. I get home and my kids consume me. But I'm okay going to sleep
Yeah.
knowing like our website was designed absolutely perfectly, flawlessly. It's out of control, man. I challenge anybody listening, go look up our website and compare it to every other septic business in our area. It doesn't hold a candle to ours. And that's all your team. But yeah, so when we built the website, I would be up every single night, uh 11, 12, 1, whatever, every night after work, put the kids to bed, eat dinner, and then I'd be sitting on the couch, just throwing information onto the Trello board.
Yep.
Your team, one of the best things about your team is, at the time, I think it still had people in different time zones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, we would get, I'd like send something out on the board at like 11 p.m. and I'd get a response. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah, let's go. Let's work on this. So
Yeah, I mean, you're East Coast, so we're still working at that time.
yeah. I'm sure, your team was missing some dinners because it was our website, but yeah, you get out what you put in, man. We put in so much effort and so much time into that website and our Google SEO. I'm just going to throw some quick numbers at you and for our listeners. So I'll actually preface the numbers with this. My dad and I were in our shop. We were in the shop 2 weeks ago, and a buddy of mine runs a plumbing business. I'm gonna give him a shout out actually. Grimm's Plumbing out of
So
Norwalk, Connecticut.
Grims.
Let's go, Zach. It's my right hand man with all drain cleaning, locate, and plumbing needs. Takes care of our customers better than anybody else. So all right, so Zach was in our shop and he mentioned us. He's like, hey, he's like, I was on your website and it's phenomenal. I'm like, that's so for a
Thank you, Zach.
customer. Yeah, Zach's the best. For a customer to be on our website, that's cool. You would expect that, right?
Yep.
You'd expect a customer to be on there. But for a contractor to be on your website, you wouldn't really expect that because they know you. They have your phone. Like, there's no reason for them to be on your website. But he was on the website and he's like, wow, you guys have a fantastic website. Your Google page is like on point. He's like, who do you use? And I say, Phaser Marketing, Lucas. That's right. It's like, what do you think of them? I was thinking about like, I need a website. And my dad said to him, he goes, if you use them, I'm gonna just warn you right away. He goes, your phone will ring. He's like, are you ready to like take
Are
it to
you
the next
committed?
level? Yeah. Are you committed? Can you handle the call volume? Can you handle the workload? And I agree 1000%. And this is where I'll plug our quick numbers in. Last year was 2023, and we were with you. That was like our first year with you.
Yep.
We had 240 new pumping customers for the whole year, which I thought was out of control. I was like, this is sick.
Because I think the year before was at 94?
94. The year
94.
before that, 2022, was 94 new customers for the entire year. Then we signed up with you and Phaser, and we were at 240 new on top of that. And that's just pumping. So I was like, oh man, this is great. This year, 2024, we're in August. To date, we have around 260.
Ooh, and this is recorded in August.
Let's go. Yeah, August 6th. Let's go. So, we're on track for one a day. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't know. I think that's cool. And
that
this
is incredible, dude.
Yeah, and this is where all the systems come into play. Like,
yep.
The whole Phaser team, Sam answering the phone, Dad and I returning phone calls, looking at jobs. Your family, everyone's families allowing us to do all this. My wife at home putting the kids to bed tonight so I can be on this podcast with you, or honestly 4 out of the 5 nights every single week.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, it's like 8 o'clock. I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. Just left the last job. So all these systems, all the support comes together just for that. And it's huge. I mean, I texted Sam on the way here and I was like, hey, we are 2 reviews away from 100 on Google. 2 years ago, we were like, hey, we're almost at 25, like rock on.
Yeah. I mean, and that is, so what we do, I tell everyone this. So what we do, we build great marketing habits for excavation, septic, and hardscaping companies. And the gasoline to
septic,
pour on.
Septic. It used to be just excavation. Now it's septic.
Yep. Yeah, had to toss the septic in.
Love it.
The gasoline that you can toss on our strategy that we do is simply Google reviews. If you go out and get Google reviews, it is pouring gas in what we do, and all of a sudden you rise the ranks so much quicker. And it is incredible to see, like, when all of those pieces and systems that you're talking about are working.
It's so cool.
It is amazing at what you can do. And also, like, what your options are like. And I guess that's also what I'm curious about too, is and not that you need to make any drastic changes, but like what is next, the next
Okay.
year, the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like what do
Yeah.
you see happening
Yeah.
in life and with the business?
Yeah. So, it was funny because 5 years ago, I was sitting in a police car and I said, man, at some point I'd like to get back in this. I want to get a pump truck, get another pump truck. And I literally said 5 years ago, I was like, I want to get a new pump truck. Here we are. We did it. We got it's our first new truck, first truck with power windows. Let's
Yeah,
go.
power
Let's go.
windows.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So that, that was the goal. I think we hit that. We hit it without even realizing it. Along
Yeah.
the way, we've been able to buy other new equipment that's been really cool. But it's not really the new stuff that's cool. It's the relationships we're building. It's the 4.9 Google stars. That's cool. It's the name that we've built.
Yeah.
The reputable name. There's nothing more I guess honorable you can say than when you go out and someone says, I need septic. Oh my God, call Andersons.
Yeah.
Brian and the team are fantastic. I trust them. So I think long-term goal is to keep the name honorable. Keep it in the house. Keep it a household name. I don't want to be part of someone's conversation where they're like, I don't know about those guys. I don't know. I want to be top tier.
Yeah.
I want people to call us and say, listen, I don't care what it costs. I know you do good work. We're not, you don't want to take advantage of people, and you don't want people to have buyer's remorse and everything like that. But you want people to trust, to be like, listen, I got your price, I got their price, your price. You're in the middle, you're the highest, whatever. But we like the product you put out. We like what you represent. So be proud of your work. So we'll carry that. That's the long term. Just keep a proud name. I mean, I guess short term, yeah, I'd love to put another pump truck on the road. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's way more challenging than at first. When you first think about it, you're like, yeah, no problem, 2 trucks, let's go. and there's days where I'm like, I could really use another truck, like another truck on the road. But when you break it down and think about the workload that you need for that, it's immense. So yes, I'd love to have 2 trucks on the road. The business, talking about like delegating, and I want to work in the field as long as I can. I really enjoy the work. I never want to get out of that, but I do want to be able to form a team.
Yeah.
I want to get a foreman. I want to get a crew. I want a really solid, reliable crew that I can set up. I can come in and I can say, hey, I'm going to meet you at this job and set you up and let them do their thing. And then I can go out, bid jobs, look at jobs, run permits around, do some office work, make my kids' T-ball game at 12 o'clock on a Thursday. Yes. Like that would be sick. That right now, that's not happening. I am not making any baseball games. I'm not making it. Like, that's just not a possibility right now, which is totally fine. You got to make those sacrifices. So,
but then have the goal and the vision to get there and to make those. And so I love that. And it's like you said too, that's not your 15-year goal, because they're going to be 21 years old and drinking beers at that time. So it's hopefully they're not still playing T-ball. And I mean, just to have that vision and that goal of like, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get there and make this happen.
Yeah. And ultimately my father, I joke, he's 60, 61. And I joke, I should know exactly how old, but I don't.
I mean, he looks like he's 50, so I wouldn't know.
The way he works, like, he's killing me out there. I told him jokingly, I'm like, dude, you got at least 30 more years left. Like,
right. He's good.
Yeah. So realistically, he's going to work as long as, he's just going to work every day. And I'd like to get to the point with him where, hey, if you show up, can you go pick up some material? Hey, you want to hop in the pump truck with me? Like, that'd be cool. But if I can get what I've realized this year is the business functions smoother and better when the owner is doing owner stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The owner should 100% be able to go out, install a septic system, install a septic tank, do a pipe repair, diagnose, run every single piece of equipment, run a truck. But the owner has owner responsibilities.
Yep.
Okay. You know, you quickly realize you need to be in the office. You need to be answering the phone calls. You need to be running paperwork around. That's what or going to, if you're bigger scale, going to meetings.
Well, and even to clarify that too,
Yeah,
having your head above water so that you can see the business and strategically make
yeah,
decisions.
absolutely. And those, so I realized really quickly, like when we're on a job, uh, I live with my AirPods in my ear
Yeah.
24/7. They broke like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't had them. It's been horrible. I constantly answering the phone. Hey, yeah, let me just call you at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, how do you even do that with one hand up?
You can't, like, so you realize you know I love doing the work, and the customers love seeing us out there,
Yeah.
but you got to be able to say, all right, it's time for me to break away. Let me get a really good representative of the company and put them out there. So that's the goal. Form a team, man. You can't do this by yourself.
Yeah.
Cannot do it by yourself.
Dude,
Um,
I love it. And I'm just so excited for myself and our whole team to like walk with you through this whole journey and just to get to see all the different versions of
yeah,
Anderson Septic.
yeah,
And I always say like it's not our goal to work with a company for 6 months. It's the next 10, 20, 30 years. And
yeah.
just I'm just so excited for that and the generations that'll come through it too. So
That's the
dude,
word
I
right there.
know,
Generations, man.
yeah,
Generations.
absolutely, man. And I just know that thank you so much for being on the show. Like
Yeah,
I said in
absolutely.
the beginning, I've been looking forward to this forever. This has been long overdue, but I think it was also the perfect time.
Yeah,
And
very good.
I think a lot of people listening are going to get a ton of value. And for anyone still listening right at the end here, I mentioned it before, but definitely reach out to Brian here at Andersons.septic. Just shoot him a message on Instagram. It will, I mean, the more connected we get as like a community,
Yeah,
the better we can all do with business, with our families, with
yeah.
our goals and everything. So you've been a huge help for myself and our team
Thank
and
you.
just your whole family and the hospitality and just the love that you guys show us is insane. So I'm excited for you guys
Yeah,
to meet Olivia, meet my wife.
yeah, absolutely, man. We gotta get the families together.
Absolutely. And just to keep making these memories over the years. I think that's just so important and just to keep living life. So
Yeah.
uh I'm so proud of you and the whole
Thank you.
family for
Thank you.
everything you guys have built. And I'm just yeah, honored that you came on the show and then to be releasing this is just it's been awesome.
Oh, it's cool, man. It's earth shattering. You don't think about this kind of stuff when you're out there like, oh, I'm just pumping shit, putting septics in. Like, you don't think where it can take you.
Yeah.
And now we're, side note, now we're talking about, going to the wet show and meeting up with other
Yeah.
industry legends. Like some people are being like, dude, it's just business owners, it's just septic guys. No, man, this is
Not at all.
not at all, man. These are icons, I think.
Yeah. So, and because we were talking about that with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wet show coming up, just getting like an Airbnb, and we've already got, I'm coercing James Stixma with
Oh
Canadian
no,
Septic to
he doesn't.
come.
He doesn't have a choice. Yeah,
He
he's
doesn't
he's
know,
no, there's
and
no
then
choice.
Durbin with Dig It, he said he's in. Doug, we're gonna drag him in
Yeah,
with
no, he's in
BlackRock,
too.
and
Yeah,
just like there's another handful that I'm gonna reach out to and be like, hey, this is we're all going anyway. Might as well have a house that we can all stay at, and then just mastermind there as well. Have a couple drinks
yeah,
and
yeah.
just have a good time. So I'm so
Yeah,
stoked for that.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time, man. Let's it's a business trip. It's a fun trip. We
Yep,
can we can absolutely learn something. You know, like for example, I know we're at the end of the show here, but
that's
um,
all right.
we'll go till midnight, right? Midnight's
Yeah, I
good.
mean it was supposed to end like 40 minutes ago, so
Fine, it's
we're
fine.
good.
So when my dad and I were down in Florida, we spent some time at a Florida on-site wastewater show. And our truck was in the show because the truck builder had a booth there.
Yep.
So we could have easily said, hey, we're in Florida. Let's go to the beach. Let's go have fun today. Instead, we spent the time and we walked around the convention and we learned so much.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of things. I'm not going to give away what we were talking about, like 5-year plan here. I'm not going to give away my projected secret, maybe. I don't know. It's not really a secret, but I'm not going to give away our plan. But we learned a lot down there that I think we can bring here to Connecticut.
Yeah.
About wastewater and stuff to create work throughout the entire year for us. Something big for me is creating steady work all year long.
Yeah.
For me, for my kids, my grandkids. So you can go to these conventions and you can actually learn something. If you go there and you're gonna have fun, you're gonna, like, we're going to Indianapolis, say, see the town, see the city, but no, we can actually let's make it a learning experience. Let's get other business masterminds. Durbin, man, that guy, look at his operation. If anybody needs someone to follow on Instagram, it's that dude. His floor where his septic trucks park is cleaner than my kitchen floor at my house.
Your kitchen table. I mean,
my kitchen table. I mean, I have 2 toddlers, so really that doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's I'd love to, if I could just have a fraction of his business in my own, it would just explode. So I'm going to jump on any opportunity to meet someone like him. He's huge into treating the effluent.
Yep.
Making clean effluent for a cleaner world, for a longer lasting septic. So I want to learn so much about that. And so if there's any way we can connect with people like that, anybody listening, jump on any of that, even if it's not in your area, man. We were down in Florida, like,
yeah,
the codes in Florida do not apply to Connecticut.
Right.
We don't install the same products, but we can apply something.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to reach out too. I think you'll be surprised at how giving everyone is, especially when they're not in your exact town. Like if you're talking to somebody outside of your town and in a different state or different country, especially in this line of business, on
it's
Instagram,
very competitive. Yeah.
When you're local, and then when you're not local, it's like people are just like, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Absolutely.
And so don't be afraid to reach out to anyone. But
yeah,
dude, this is awesome. I mean,
this is blessed. I miss we gotta do another one with Luke Payne, man. Gotta meet that guy.
I know.
I haven't met him yet.
We're excited to get him back in the mix here. I know, like I said, his summers are insane, so I'm excited. We've got probably like 3 rants dialed up right now, because I know we've got lots of topics to dive in with him. So it'll be fun to get you back on with him as well. Absolutely. And get the dirt bags back together, the shit bags.
The shit bags. I love it. Love it.
All right, dude.
This was just the start. Just the start.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it so much. We'll be seeing you soon. And dude, thanks again for everything.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you and Phaser, everyone. Man, you guys been unreal. Thank you.
Awesome. And everyone, thank you for listening. And we'll see you on the next one.